Heyo. Welcome to Benchwarmers, a Woso podcast, episode 38, part 2. I can't think of a second player. We're just going to chill out with the Spencer shout. But you have just come.
Do you think a 38 is a football number? I don't think
it's a terrible number.
It's
a terrible number.
Even
I'll be honest. I don't even think 8 is a good full. I know people love 8. Everyone's full on Aitana trained, and I get that, and I get the infinite element of it. But I've never liked 8 as a number. I just think I love Xavi. How funny is that? I love Xavi as well. Xavi's best days are in this as number 6, right? So like that's the point. You just come from the first part of this where we spoke about the the expected demolition in Norway. I don't know what they're going to call that game. Just like, I mean, if we're calling it like Matilda's games, like Miracle of Montpellier, is this just like the expected battering?
The
nuke in Norway. I like that. I think that's what we're going to call it from now on. The nuke in Norway, Normageddon. But instead of talking about the biggest game of the calendar year, we're going to talk about what has happened outside of that. Woso around the grounds, full stop. We're going to start in, as we always do, England, where we had the WSL relegation promotion playoff. I genuinely thought I was watching calcio ball in England. That's the only way to describe this game between Leicester and Charlton. I've dubbed this game the rally in the valley. See what I did there? I mean, I don't know. How much have you watched of, what are they called? The Addicts, aren't they? Which is a ridiculous name for a team.
I don't know what it means. I don't really understand it. But to be fair, I don't really know the lore of many Premier League / WSL clubs. I kind of just take it as one day, like they came together in an organization. Like, you're the bees. You're the one with the woman that looks like her hair is going back. Like,
toffees. You are toffees. Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Look,
I think it's based on haddock. You know the word like haddock, like captain, like a player's eating haddock. Like, you know, the chippies. Yeah, I think they're called addicts because it's haddock and chips, right? You know, the haddock food, right? Yeah. It's like a fish. They're a fishing town, right? Isn't Charlton a fishing town? So that's my slight historical like football knowledge mixed with a slight, the Google search, but I know that they're a fishing town. Kind of like Bournemouth are a fishing town as well, but they're called the Cherries. You are right. I don't know where they ascribed it. Also, it sounds too much like addicts as well. It doesn't work well. I keep thinking, like, why do they keep calling them the addicts? But also, they were, to be fair, if they were addicted to something in this game, it was pure fucking heroin.
I was going to say they're addicted to
in this game. Yeah, holy moly. I mean, this was like watching, in some ways, like the dub in Oz. Like the long balls, the over the top, the ridiculous strikes at goal. I mean, honestly, for me, the only good chance in basically that whole game was Shannon O'Brien, who had that great shot towards goal. It went through like a crowd of bodies, and then I mean their goalkeeper. I mean, we're gonna get to what's her name? Whitehouse, Morehouse, Roadhouse. I don't care. Charlton in 10. They're winning the league. To be honest, like they are just. I mean, how will they ever concede again? I mean, we can talk about the myriad of chances that were horrendous, by the way. I don't think many of them are worth noting, other than maybe that header. I think there was a long range effort from Ellie Mason, my left foot goat, to be honest, who hit that ball just off target. It was the Neville chance. I think the Neville chance, which sums up Neville's career in the 93rd minute, that got saved. The rest were just gung-ho football, which is fun to watch. It is crazy to watch, but I know the neutrals want goals. The neutrals don't want to see 0-0 shambles. That whole the crotness of this game just felt like a bunch of crots, to be honest. For people who don't know out there, that's our colloquial term for a cross shot. I'm not saying
not ours.
It's
Amy Sayers.
It's Amy Sayers. Sorry, I apologize. Amy Sayers crot, but we're not just calling them like a slur. It just is a word. But there were some crots that weren't quite impressive. And Katie Keane, I think, can hold her head up high as well for Leicester for making it relatively easy to deal with a lot of Charlton's attacks.
Do you think it's so funny that Whitehouse, who was easily the player of the match, like just incredible. I mean, she got a shout out by Hannah Hampton.
We got the shootout. So we got to the shootout eventually after the Lockwood effort. The what was the one that was tipped onto the crossbar? I think that was the Lockwood effort, and then Lobato nodded that one.
She actually got the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah. She actually scored, but
don't even get me started. There should be VAR in this playoff. Like, you know how in the A-League.
What do you mean there should be VAR in the playoff?
Let me land.
Yeah.
So we in the A-League, right? There is no VAR for the whole season until the final. Not even finals. It's just the final.
Just the final. Yeah.
This game is just as important, in my opinion.
Oh,
and
it's huge.
To not have VAR at least in the final of a relegation/playoff. Not even to mention that I don't think penalties should even be a thing in these games. It should be like the FA Cup. You should be able to do a redo. To me, that was a goal, in my opinion. I think it was very tight, and you'd need VAR for it. But like as I was saying before, right, it's so funny to me that Charlton's keeper, she had one penalty conceded against her. She didn't save that one. She has a 21. She's had 21 goals conceded against her in 22 matches, right? So she's not spectacular by any grasp of the imagination.
But Charlton haven't been a spectacular defensive side in the WSL 2 at all.
And that's true. And then so the only real game I watched of Charlton was that final day where they missed out on automatic qualification.
Yeah, the auto, yeah.
And in that game, we saw some real defensive lapses from them, and something that I think was going to be obviously exploited. I thought Leicester would be like, okay, so we have the WSL talent. We've played teams, and we played good games against WSL teams. And then when they played Charlton, Charlton not only brought Leicester down to their level for the 120 odd minutes, but it felt like right at the end, it felt like Leicester woke up suddenly. And then what Charlton did was just double down and just killed them off. And then the penalties are a fantastic replication of that.
I mean, you look at their ability to get forward within the first and second half compared to the extra time. I think Charlton knew who they had in goal. We didn't, but they knew who they had in goal and decided at the end of the first half of extra time that they wanted penalties because it was relentless from Leicester. They did have chance on chance on chance in that second half. I kind of thought that they would get one, but the question was always the same question: who is going to be the one that gets one? Who is the player that you're looking to when you watch Leicester and think to yourself, oh, they're gonna get over the line? And ultimately, we went to penalties, and you do the same thing again. I mean, I'm thinking of Mouchon. Mouchon's the player who's got to come on the field and do the damage for Passmore, right? I'm thinking of players that came off the bench later in that game. Heather Payne, Swaby, Rachel Williams, a player that needs has experience, albeit not the player I would pick to finish off the match or to kill it off. But I was surprised that Janina Leitzig wasn't playing. I assume she's still injured, but Katie Keane can definitely hold her head up high. I mean, both keepers can for this penalty shootout. So we will start with the Tilly's GOAT, EVE.
Can we just talk a little bit about EVE? She came on in this game, and she was the epitome of like lackadaisical mid. So when that penalty, when she was about to score that penalty, not only did I go, she's missing this, it was written that she was missing. She played so terribly, even though she had one of the better chances of Leicester in the whole game, only coming on at the end of the second half. Like
it was mid second half. So 55th minute.
Obvious. It was obvious that she was going to miss this.
Oh no! I mean, we spoke about this earlier in the week where I said that there is a 100% reason why Tony Gustafsson took you off in that France game. You were never taking a penalty. Yeah, you were like one side of the controller was working for the Leicester penalties. Like you watch the Leicester penalties, they all went the same way except for Liv McLaughlin, who clearly glitched the system and put one in the top right. God forbid a Leicester player hits the ball ball to the right side of the keeper, but they all went in the same place. Shout out to Katie Keane for saving Bradley's penalty. That was very, very impressive save. Wasn't the best penalty, but you gotta when you're under pressure, you could have gone 1-0 down and that could have been it. But Shannon O'Brien's penalty was saved onto the post. That was ridiculous from Whitehouse. And then Amelia Thestrup comes on. So this is the antithesis of EVE. So Thestrup comes on, does a few little things here and there, nooks and crannies, fighting for the ball, having a few ground jewels, not necessarily winning them all, committing a few fouls, getting stuck into the game, and then comes in and then delivers that penalty. It was a fantastic pen. She was the first to score and sets the tone, right? And then we got Liv McLaughlin's penalty, the one where she sent the keeper the wrong way and she hit it up in the air. She was the only one who took the safety off, by the way, the only Leicester player who took the safety off, because Fitzgerald her penalty wasn't great. That tied the shootout. Heather Payne's penalty was also just low, hard to the right. It was easy. She kept saving the same shot, but Ellie Mason, hands up, best penalty of the day by a mile. Left foot, bang, hit it as hard as you can and send the keeper packing. And then it was Mouchon, the player. I'm like, thinking to myself, okay, she has to score. She's come on. She's the attacker. She's basically been brought on that if they go to penalty, like if you can win the game, great. But if we go to penalties, we have a striker to do it. And she gave probably the worst. I'd say her and EVE can tie for the worst 2 penalties of it. And that was it, right? This girl's made 4 saves in a penalty shootout to get her team into the WSL. It's insane what this means for Charlton, what this means for Leicester as well, who've lost their last 12 matches in a row. This was the first time they kept a clean sheet. Warra Leicester for keeping the first clean sheet in 12 matches as well. But this is such an interesting game that's ended in such interesting terms, and I mean it sets the precedent for what London clubs, I mean, how many London clubs can you fit in a WSL season? That is the real question.
I mean, my biggest question, I mean, I have some stuff about Leicester that I want to go into, but my biggest question is, does Alicia Lehman score a penalty if she's on the park? Does she score one? Because I'm thinking yes,
maybe,
guys. I'm thinking yes.
Yeah, maybe. I think there's an argument for that. I mean, I would argue that some of the defenders have probably hit the ball hard enough. I mean, also like
Rachel Williams,
wasn't Tierney didn't take a penalty. Tierney's been week in, week out. Tierney creates the most chances, has beautiful dead ball capabilities. I'd expect Tierney to take one. I know Mailing came off, so that makes sense. But yeah, very, very disappointing for Leicester.
Yeah, and look, Leicester this season have been the team that we predicted them to be, underwhelming.
Yeah, we nailed that.
Incredibly poor in both what they've done in the 90 minutes, but behind the scenes as well. I mean, the club in and of themselves are really to blame for this, outside of the clientele who play every week. But Leicester, it's fun fact. Leicester, not really a fun fact for Leicester, have got less points than the last place WSL 2 side in Portsmouth. So Portsmouth have
harder competition, so it makes sense.
And Leicester, I mean, yes, but at the same time, Leicester should be getting more points. They're a better side, and look,
not relative. Like I think, like I get what you're saying, and it is disgraceful that they have less points than them. But I do think that Leicester, going up against Arsenal, City, Chelsea, like they are relatively worse in their respective league than Portsmouth was to the WSL2, in my opinion. I think that's the level difference. Yeah,
I can get that. But I guess from my perspective is, you're in the WSL. I expect you to get more than 9 points. And if you're Portsmouth, I expect you to not be very good if you're the worst team in the WSL2. But I guess the biggest thing behind the scenes is that Leicester have obviously been, they've been double relegated. They were relegated from the Premier League, and now they've been relegated from the Championship. They still have a bunch of things that they need to pay off in accordance to the FFP charges that they have, and this will of course be the detriment of the women's team. All those costs will fall on the women's team. The women's team will not be able to recuperate the same way someone like Crystal Palace has, or tried to do at least this season, and the Bristols and the like. And I feel like Leicester may not be in the WSL for a couple of seasons,
very true.
and that's not necessarily all their fault. And I think that
we will 100% talk about that and their capabilities to get back into those spaces. But I think the important thing to think about is the ability for Charlton to, I mean, I don't know what this exercise in endeavour is in building up the size of the WSL. We've spoken about this really early on in the podcast. But the idea of expanding the WSL when if the gap is already this big with Leicester in it compared to the respective teams in it, how bad are we going to see? Are we going to start, like, you can't really claim the whole, Liga F is a farmers league, or Frauenbund is a stomping grounds, or like, Barcelona win these games 12-0, 8-0 every week, when we're bringing in teams that may not be ready for WSL football. And I'm excited to see Charlton in the league. I'm excited to see teams like Birmingham City, who've had an amazing season, and Crystal Palace back in the league. Sure, 100%. They will be very entertaining. And I think Abby Larkin is a very good striker who's going to have a lot of fun in the WSL and put a lot of pressure on better sides than them. But there is a situation where you have what happened in the men's Premier League, where 3 up and 3 go down, and you yo-yo. And I understand they're putting an extra 3 and they're only losing 1. But if next year it's now 1 up, 1 down, then we could really seriously be having a yo-yo situation where teams that go up only go down and teams that go down only go up.
And I guess this is the predicament that women's football is facing, because we see it with Liga F. There's 16 teams there, and we don't see much change in accordance to really what is a duopoly, but is really just a single monopoly. The Bundesliga has 14 teams, and that is slightly more even. And then the rest of them, I believe, have about 12 if we're going with Serie A.
It's also a monopoly, but it's also pseudo monopoly at this
point. And then there's monopolies there. But I guess Serie A is probably the best example of a league that
Serie A is great.
Yeah, it's more
the feminile, baby.
It's more even if the quality is not as great as the WSL. But again, I find that the WSL, and the conversations also extend to the Premier League as well, is if you have money to spend on the best players, then the league by default is the best league in the world. The Farmers League is only really going to be applicable if we start seeing a general trend of teams unable to beat the likes of an Alexia or Villa or an Everton or those sorts. If teams
we'll find out this season. This is the expansion tactic that has the potential to cause that. And I think that's when, like, the WSL supremacy, the reason why we cover football around the grounds and not just the WSL, is because we respect the other leagues and what they're able to offer. I think, as we've said before, I think Sociedad in the WSL right now would give most of the top 4 a good lick and would potentially be better than all of the pack, 100%. I think if Sociedad played United in a one-off game, that it would be close. It would be very, very close because of the way they play, the structure and the way they play. They are, we'll talk more about Sociedad very, very soon. But I did want to mention the fact that the 14-team structure with 7 in London is crazy. Like seven teams in London. When you add in Palace, then you have LCL as well. It's going to be quite wild in terms of we have in the A-League dub, we have complaints about Wellington and Perth going, and New Zealand going leaps and bounds to get to more localized teams. I mean, imagine being Newcastle soon when they go up with all their extended investment. They're probably going to be looked to go up next season in the WSL too. And I mean, they'll be trying to fight after 6 London clubs. They're going up and back and up and back. It's going to be horrendous for them. But the structure of having 7 London clubs makes the London rivalries bigger. It means there'll be more teams and more supporters turning up at London games, which I think is exciting for them. But I don't think the WSL supremacy should hold weight in the fact that when you expand, there is a potential for a bit of backlash and backlog in the 8-0 start coming up if they're not ready for it. The 9-0 start coming up if they're not ready for it. And I'm hoping that we don't get a mirror of what's happening in the Premier League, where teams that go up and aren't going straight down. And this is the first season in the men's Premier League where that isn't happening. So hopefully that we've started a trend of being able to facilitate that, because ultimately I do think Liverpool is a lot better than Leicester. I think Liverpool is a lot better than Birmingham and Crystal Palace. It is going to be an interesting league to look at next year in terms of when we do our WSL predictions, as we always do. But that is all we have for the WSL this year. I mean, basically, I mean, we're going to bring you news here and rumors here now and again about the respective league, but we've had a great time covering the WSL. It's obviously the mainstay league. It's the league that actually hasn't given us the most views, I'll be honest.
Really?
It gives us a lot of views. It gives us a lot of views, but I feel like all our best, most viral moments are about, I mean, to be fair, Kyra Cooney Cross, Kang is of virality. Kang
no, Spain. I said Spain.
But Spain, Puteas, I would say Clara Bull as well, talking about the Bunds. But we will get there. We will vamos to the Liga F, where we're going to talk about the penultimate round of the Liga F. We're going to start with Barca, Romeu's Barca versus Arturo Ruiz's Sociedad, a game that was to settle scores of what happened earlier in the season when Imade implanted herself on the Woso scene. I mean, she already was in our zeitgeist because I glazed her from week one. But this was a bit of a revenge tour. And you know what? It wasn't really that much of a revenge tour. Yes, it was a legacy game. Yes, Alexia's last game, Aitana's third start. Both of them involved in magical moments in this respective game. The Guard of Honor, the UWCL trophy list. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, the way they treat Alexia like she's La Masia royalty is hilarious, considering she's like pseudo La Masia royalty. No one forgets that Espanyol Levante era of Alexia Putellas's career. But the standout for this game was a La Masia product. Jesus Christ, I actually hate her. I still hate her so much. She's so good. It's not fair. They're gonna replace. They're gonna lose Salma. Watch. Salma's gonna get pipped by Leon, and they're gonna be better because Carla Julia is better than Salma. But Lucia Rodriguez, a player who's been very good for Sociedad all season, gave Carla Julia way too much space and respect on that left side. She absolutely ripped her apart, and then played that ball across to who else but Pina, goal. Is this number 22? Is this number 22? 21. Absolute psycho. She's just killing off teams. She's Pina in the 9, by the way. What did you think of Pina in the 9?
I mean, Pina in the 9, was it Kika as well with her in that sort of in that channel middle, on the left hand side? I mean, I Pina, I've said this before, can play anywhere, and that's her versatility. And honestly, it just makes me very frustrated that they haven't tried this for Spain, because I feel like the biggest really fault that Spain have is filling in that number 9. And I know Imade is kind of the person incoming, but I guess Barcelona, I mean, that's a team stacked full of strikers and players who can play in that number 9 position. All I can say is I like it much better than if Salma played in the 9. So Pina in the 9, I don't mind.
Do you not think it's because of how good she is on the left and they don't have a left wing replacement?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. I guess Pina, the thing about Pina is that the move that she does do is direct. I mean, the Pina, you know, curling
the channel, the iron Rapina,
is directly as a consequence of her inverting into the center or into the center channel from the left hand side. So I guess the thing about Pina and the thing about strikers is how much can they hold their own, and if Ella can do it, I think Pina can do it.
100%. I don't disagree. It's just, I mean, if you've got Ella, you're going to play Ella. For Spain, I do agree it's an option, especially if Carla Julia is coming through. Carla Julia might play left back, but she could play left wing. She can play bloody everywhere. It's insane that Carla Julia's versatility. I don't know if Olga is still in the Spain's setup.
Olga,
I think
that name.
I mean, who the hell is Olga? Olga sounds like someone from the 1930s Spanish team. But I mean, we have to give Arturo Ruiz his praises again. My glaze and praise for this man just never stops. But clearly he listens to the pod, because we always say that if you want to beat Barca, which they have already, you have to be as miserly as you can, but you also have to invite the chaos. And that throw in from Lucia Rodriguez, who made the mistake to give Carla Julia the respect, throws it in, and Emma Ramirez, I mean, put off my cap. What an unbelievable moment. Chest it, takes on Marta Terrayon, who has legacy in this league, legacy in this club. just spectacular run of form from Emma Ramirez in the back half of this season. By putting a huge goal on her CV. As I always say, any player who scores against Barcelona is basically a fan of mine and should put it on their bloody their tombstone. Not because I love Barcelona. I just think it's so hard to do, and you need to put some respect on Sociedad as a whole for making it 1-1. They could have easily got shelled in 3-0, 4-0, but it was Alexia and Aitana. I mean, you explained this goal perfectly. The Bon Mati finish, the Hezi is beautiful, all of this stuff. But let's not forget who starts this goal, who inverts to make sure Lexi gets the space. I hate her so much. It's always Carla Julia. When she's on the field, she runs the game and she's a child. It makes no sense. But shout out to Carla Julia, who, like, all these passes, I just love it. And they did this to Lyon as well, that the ability for a player, even in a microcosm of the 20-yard, 30-yard box, the ability for them to draw their defenders to the pinch perfect last second to make their passes is sublime. It's like they're playing Rondo on roids. Like, how long can I have the ball at my feet until I get rid of it? So the way she drew, Carla Julia draws Kahinova in perfectly, plays the late ball to Putellas. Putellas waits for Rodriguez to be drawn out as well and then plays the ball. And then Aitana, who has the ball at her feet, the best player for Sociedad is running after her, Paula Fernandez, and she just hezzies the crap out of him, makes her fall over. And it's just like this huge little bro moment. It's like, wow, you've been amazing this season. Shout out to Paula Fernandez for being amazing. I'm still Bon Mati. I'm still Aitana. I'm still the GOAT. And it was, a crazy finish. And then the Barca floodgates started running, to be honest, for a bit of that game. The Lexi touchdown to Pina. If that went in, I think I would have lost my mind. That goal chance for Pina. I think Pina would have been very angry at the fact that she dragged that wide. But Shirton-Leave had a chance. Pina hit the post as well from outside the box. That homing missile of hers. Putellas did that outside of the foot through ball to Martina Fenga, and it was a good attempt, but Aparicio does well with her body. And then Arturo gave Lexi just way too much space in this second half of the game to control the middle of the park. But and then the farewells began. I mean, Leggy, do you want to take it away? Which one felt the best for you? Which one felt the worst?
Which one got the worst? I'm not doing that. Are you crazy?
Nah.
I mean, it's funny because everybody thought that Marta Torrejon would be signing off, and then I heard today that she's staying on and she's renewed her contract. Hers is not a adios. We're not adiosing Marta yet. So on the Batier for me was just get off of that park, catch a plane, go to North London, hurry up.
But that's my point. That was the worst send off. That was cheerio, mate.
and then Muppies is go to I don't know, some back room at the Johan Cruyff and start doing a morality test, LCL, Leon, which one do I go to?
Spin the wheel.
Yeah, and then Alexia's was basically what I had thought
in mind for all of them.
I mean, this is I mean, I feel I don't know if you've watched the film Evita with Madonna.
Of course. Yeah.
And it reminded me of that. Just these, I mean, they could have put photos of Alexia everywhere and just had her walked off this guard of honor. I mean, it was incredible.
Geraldes is in the corner listening to Can't Get You Out of My Head.
I mean, it's just, it was really just respectful of the fact that this is a player that's done it for 14 seasons, and the fact that this is potentially the last time that they will see her at the Johan Cruyff. And I feel the way that she sent off, the fact that the goal that she set up for Aitana, I wrote down as a bit like a coronation, really. One she'll always be
throne. It's the watch the throne era. It's when I mean at a period of time in history now, but ultimately that handing over of the crown to her is obviously the moment, and the celebration was great as well. I do want to shout out Sociedad for not giving up on this game, where Agarizabala and Egagira and the substitutes. Imagine if Lyon's substitutes played like this. Come on, there would have been more of a game. But Egagira played it across to Lucia Rodriguez, who had a game and a half, to be honest. Even though she did make the first I wouldn't even say it's a mistake, just like a lapse in judgment. But she went for it, and I rate Arturo Ruiz throwing the kitchen sink at Barca. Who cares if it's 3-1? Go after the win. But shout out to Shirton Lee. I mean, her tracking back capabilities are crazy. I think that's it, right? I don't know if we'll see Shirton Lee deeper further forward when she has the ability to track back like this. They get a corner from it, and then they hit the post, and then Patri and Vicky Lopez had a very nice 1-2, and then Vicky obviously put it wide as the game finished 2-1. Barcelona on their way to another potentially 87-point season. Wow. Crazy stuff. Yeah. And I think Sociedad have Atleti next week, which will be a crazy game. That will be the biggest game in the round by a mile in the Liga F. But we will go through around the grounds in the Liga F. Levante, Barcelona getting absolutely Caroline Weird, getting battered by Real Madrid. I mean, honestly, I don't have a lot like amazing to say about the fact that that Caroline Weir's goals were quite interesting. Also, just Levante Barcelona was specifically poor in this game. Yeah. Like we've seen the Liga F pack, we've seen Tenerife, we've seen Atleti, we've seen Sociedad, we've seen the Deportivos and the Sevillas and the Ibars actually put up a challenge, but this Levante side was pretty poor, I think. And I don't really go after teams that bad, but this crot that Eva Navarro gets in, I understand Redondo's running onto it, but it's just not far away from the goalkeeper enough to get onto this. And don't get me wrong, I like that Redondo was playing the role of Stina in this moment, because they are basically the Spanish and Swedish bizarro versions of each other. But there was enough pressure and enough chaos to do the damage. I just felt like there was a lot to be desired, especially with the cutback into the box. Weir's first goal, I don't think Fella's ball to her is all that spectacular. And I think Weir does really well to control it down to actually get contact on it that is meaningful to score the goal. But Fella's ball shows why they don't get enough in these big games, because it was bouncing, lobbing, it's a bit of luck to get through. And then the free kick, which I should be running lapsadaisical about because it's a very nice strike, is just not good enough. Like, it's not like Caroline Weir isn't celebrating a 30-yard free kick because she knows that most other goalkeepers save that. I'll be honest. I don't know who the Levante Barcelona goalkeeper is, and I'm sorry about that, because I should. But ultimately, this hat trick didn't feel the same way. Like, this shot, do you remember the Arsenal game where she scored that volley?
The full volley from the
full volley from the,
I remember.
Or the Ibar game where she did the turn, the half turn and the ping into the top with her left foot. Like, that's an amazing goal. That's a goal where she's celebrating, rightfully so, because she's hit the top bins or she's hit an absolute launching rocket in a crowd of traffic. But this just wasn't it. None of her goals warranted excessive celebration because it felt like such a write-off of the game, which is such a shame.
I guess for me, the positive I could take out of it, and I think the thing that Real Madrid would want to take out of it, is the fact that Weir hasn't done this for a few months now, since really her return from injury. But furthermore, they weren't scoring goals like this. You need to have a player who can score the ugly goals. And I think that, and I think that if we're taking Weir as that player, I don't think that that's the answer, because she's not the striker. She's the 10. No. Like, she should be really setting up someone like Redondo to be scoring these goals. But she's going to do it for you. She's their captain for their reason. But she's also, like, I know Caicedo is up there as arguably one of the most technically gifted players in the world, let alone at Real Madrid. But I do think that Caroline Weir is the best player at Real Madrid. And I think this is the reason why she can score a goal from anywhere and she can bash teams. And these goals will come against Barcelona, and then, like she did last season, they'll come against Barcelona. And then that's the real difference.
I mean, the argument is that how many luxury players do you need in a team until you decide that one of them isn't luxury, right? Yeah. So, like, I can easily say that Caicedo is magic. Caicedo would be, the argument is that Caicedo would be better in a better team, right? So that would make her, by some extent, a luxury player. But I don't think Caroline Weir is a luxury player. I just think she's been out of form and needs to get back to the semblance of form where we had video evidence of us saying that she should have been top 5 in the Ballon d'Or at that point in time. The way she was going about her football was pretty sublime, and it's also the aesthetically pleasing content of Caroline Weir's game that is part of it. But shout out to Frums as well, who actually had quite a good outing in net today in this game. Like, I don't know how many saves she made. I feel like she made like 3 or 4 saves.
It was a good 4, because Frooms is, and we can talk
a good shot stopper. Yeah, she is a very good shot stopper.
She is the successor to Misa, and we'll talk about it a bit later when we talk about players leaving. But Misa is on the way out. Frooms came in, and I remember having a conversation with you about this. It's like 12 months ago about Frooms coming from like the esteem of Germany and Champions League wins to Real Madrid, and she got injured. She was the starting keeper. She got injured, and now she's back. And I think honestly, that back line will have to be headed by someone like Frooms if they want to keep goals out, which we talked about being one of the biggest difficulties for Real Madrid.
I mean, just a few recoveries as well from set pieces that could have been chances, but obviously, I mean, we didn't really talk about the timing on the goals. Like this was a 0-0 halftime where I feel like Casado really wasn't taking advantage of the width of their team, the breadth of attacking capabilities. I feel like there was a little bit of just disappointment all round in their performance until the second half, where, I mean, for 48 to 55, that was the 3-goal blitz with Navarro and Weir's first 2 goals. And then the 84th was when Aitana was on the park. Aitana was on after the hour and did some magical stuff in terms of playing that ball across so that Weir could finish her 4th and her hat-trick. I mean, it was too easy. I do like when Aitana inverts. I think it's so easy when they bash on easier sides, and it just looks fluid. It looks like Real Madrid are worthy of their praise when they do play against teams that aren't their level, I guess. But that moves into a game where 2 teams are evenly matched. This is an evenly matched affair. A game where, if you asked me before this game, I would have predicted Tenerife to win based on their current form, based on their, legacy would dictate that Atleti are better, but Atletico hosting Tenerife, which I am now currently dubbing the Patri-Guijarro Derby, not because of Patri-Guijarro, but because Atleti have a player called Sheila Guijarro and UDT have a player called Patri Gaviara, who is just called Patri by the comms as well. She's just called Patri. So it is the Patri-Guijarro Derby, and it was an unbelievable affair. This was a spectacular game of football. Goals galore, score, draw, magic, 2-2. Some amazing moments, some amazing cameos, I think. Shout out to the second goalkeeper for Atletico Madrid, Patricia Lark, baller, arrogance, red cards in this game. I forgot to mention 2 red cards in this game, but Natalia Ramos doing the expected, not the unexpected, the expected. This is the player with the most player of the matches of any player in the Liga F at the current moment, more than Pina, more than Payol, more than every Barcelona player, because she is that good. And that strike to open the scoring was an absolute rocket to, I mean, you said it was a driven shot across goal. It went straight through her hands. It was the roof of the net. It was a crazy strike. But she's just been doing this all season. She's just elite strikes against quality sides who try to lil bro Tenerife. Like, you're not going to get a sniff out of a team that's been admirable, valiant all season. And also, when you're playing against Atleti ball, no one is safe. No one is safe. No clean sheet is safe. But you did kind of know that Atleti would get back into it. To be fair, the way they went about their midfield spine, I think, was quite impressive, especially in the latter stages of that first half. A good time to score, a good time to do respective damage if you are what's his name, Jose Herrera. But it was Medina right at the death of the first half that ended up with a goal off the Oterman cross. This is terrible defending, by the way, for a team like UDT, who have been unbelievably defensively sound this whole season. Atleti ball, sure, I expect this from Atleti, but UDT, they're third. I think they have the 3rd best defensive record in the Liga F. I don't know if I probably need to fact check that, but in my head, I think they have the 3rd least amount of conceded goals. But Medina's just at the edge of the box and no one is running out to her. It's a bit disappointing to get the equalizer. And then We had O'Turman, Magic. Again, Fiamma's ball, beautiful. Does well to recover the ball off her chest as well. The strike is good. It's amazing. And then the red cards begin.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to start with Patri. Imagine Patri and Guijarro both got sent off. That would have been so crazy scenes. But did you really think that this Patri one was a red?
It was a dogzo. I think it was a
dogzo. It's not a big dogzo though. Like it is like she's on goal. She is on goal. It did go to VAR. It did go to VAR. I mean, Liga F does have VAR, but like she's on a tough angle. I understand it's last man, but she's on a tough angle for that to be dogzo. You know what I mean?
I guess that's the harshness of the dogzo. It's like you can even just pull the shirt back and it's a red card. I mean, that's
you know who we need to ask? We need to ask Bunge. We need to ask Bunge.
Don't bring that shit up. That's my go. That's my.
That's your go. That's why I asked. That's why I asked. If anyone's gonna get Bunge on the pod, it's you. We'll make a segment for her. The bungee jump. Is this dogzo or is this not dogzo? Atleti, just kept going, kept working hard. I mean,
with an extra player, by the way.
They were. I mean, they had the extra player. They had the ability to keep working hard, create chances, whether it be O'Turman, Gio Luani. They didn't score. You have to score when there's 10 on the ground. And the worst place to be when you're one extra player is at a corner, because let's be honest, it doesn't really matter if you're 11v10 at a corner, because the goalie's on one side, you're 9v10 and you're 9v11 and you're going to get cooked if the ball is good. And yes, Natalia Ramos can whip a corner in as well. And what a header from Fatou Dembele. I mean, after the Zaremba shots as well, Zaremba had some great chances this game and took 2 really good shots on that were saved very well by Lark. She was having a great game and she was talking trash to every save she made. She was talking trash to the Tenerife players. She was like giving the finger, no, you're not scoring today. But Dembele definitely was. And then, I mean, Alexia Fernandez got given a VAR red. This one, is it red or is it not red? This one is dark red.
I can't believe that this went to VAR. Like, this is a clear red if I've ever seen one.
This could have this felt like a prosthetic, like, surgery. Like, she was trying to amputate her leg. Like, it was so high. It was such a high tackle. I mean, the 2 red cards plus the 2 goals meant that this game went for an extra 15 minutes. It was nuts. But shout out to Tenerife for holding the draw, which means that there is a very big chance for Tenerife to at home beat Deportivo La Coruña, and then Atleti play Sociedad. Crazy scenes for the last game. The 4th, 5th, 6th derby. Oh no, it's 3rd, 4th, 5th. Like, shaping the Liga F is absolutely mental, and I'm so excited to see who finishes 3rd is obviously Sociedad, but who finishes 4th and 5th is gonna be magnificent.
And I feel like I have a bit of stakes in this, because I feel like I said that Atletico Madrid were going to finish 5th. I thought that was my mid-season hot take, or one of them at least, was that once Atletico Madrid started dropping points, and you asked me, would you think that they'll make at least top 4? And I said no. So I'm hoping that they make 5th, but more so for the fact that I've been riding on the fact that they need to have a complete shock. They need to have a complete shock to the system, start over, do something, because you can't have a season like this, kind of performances like this.
Yeah, shout out to the top 5 of the Liga F. That's what we're talking about. But that is all we have for Spanish ball as we move into Italia. Coppa Italia specifically, not the Femminile. We're talking about Roma versus Juve, the prime calcio occasion of the year, the new and up-and-coming dynasty of a Forza Roma, and the legacy ball of the old lady in Turin. So many narratives, so many things going on. Kanzi, what we didn't know, what we could have seen, what could have been as well. But I mean, you are the the primed Italiano in this podcast. So I want you to take it away for the Coppa Italia, the biggest game of the Italian calendar, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, Kanzi, as you just mentioned, we didn't know that this was his last game, and he made 9 changes to the side that beat Parma on the last game day. So he reintroduced Volti, which I think was the best move, but he also reintroduced Vangsgaard up top, which honestly was probably for the best. I mean, she was a presence in and of herself. But I mean, Bonacea, you've been talking about Bonacea, and then obviously Carbonell. But I think Godo had one of the more interesting games, was both an attacking and a defensive disaster. And then Roma, and then they introduced 2 players, 2 changes. Winnie Hitley did not start. She did not start in this final. It's terrible. The Australian
feels
media,
offensive.
They went into tears. Tara Rushton, I heard her crying from Melbourne. But Greggy
came in for Max, help her.
Jesus. Greggy came in for Rushton. Greggy had a really, really, really good game, I thought, on that left-hand side. But this was a very cagey game. I don't know if you agree, but I felt like really
it was yuck. It was so yuck. There was disgusting shots taken on. Yeah. Like, I can't believe they put together a 10-minute highlight package. What highlights were we watching? The amount of it felt like a charity match. The amount of long shots that were taken, the amount of pot shots. Jesus, Christ! It's like they didn't want to break down the low blocks on either side, and ultimately, from Juve, long shot and low block is expected, but Roma, who've been playing this season with this beautiful, expansive, inverted football, especially from their usual suspects in Dragoni and Manu, and even what's her name, who was on the other wing. Greggy was okay. I didn't think she was. I think there was a part of her game that looked like she was going down, trying to take the one-on-one stuff. But shout out to Carbonell and Harviken, who were giving absolutely no sniffs to Dragoni, which is fair enough considering the last month of Dragoni's football has arguably been her best. And Manu was getting locked up by your goat, your Swiss goat, Leah Valti.
True. And Leah Valti, I mean, if this is her last game for Juventus, then I can think that she went out with her head held high. And I think she wasn't the reason for the breakdown in the midfield and defense, because in all honesty, Juve, I thought, were really dominating in that first half. They had, I believe, something like 14 shots. This was a team that was destined to score and were decent.
But how many on target is the real question.
And that's the problem. In the second half, it was 4 shots and 2 on target. In the first half, it was 14 and 2 on target. It was terrible. It was, but this is the problem. They're either overshooting and it's not on target, or they're undershooting. And that's been the problem of Juventus. And look, Kanzi can blame whoever he likes, but I will stick up for Leah Valti and say that girl does not deserve the hate that she got earlier this season, when they were basically saying, because we realize how Valti plays, we're just going to put 2 on her and the midfield breaks up. I think that there's a real problem in not only breaking down other teams from Juventus's point of view, but I mean, getting it from defense to attack. It is very, very lackadaisical and lethargic. And that comes with the fact that they may have had the majority of shots in this game, but I think Roma and that left-hand side in particular was dominating, and they realized pretty quickly with the introduction of Elia Pilgrim that on that right-hand flank,
add the power,
pace and whip it in. Veens may not score because, God forbid that girl get a shot in the back of the net, but
or on target. That header earlier in the game was a horrendous header. It was off wide, and I was like, Leggy and I are watching this. This is just box office stuff.
Everything leading up to it, the movement, the drift off the shoulder, everything. It's just the shot. I don't understand this woman.
She faded off the shoulder perfectly. Yeah, it was a magnificent move. They trusted the 1v1 battles. They trusted the midfield overflow to create more chaos. They needed to create more chaos. That was so obvious in the first half. The Roma were trying to walk the ball in the net. Just trust that your team is able to weather the storm better than theirs. And don't get me wrong, Juve got close. Schatz's corner to Thomas and the Lenzini strike. I mean, shout out to Thorgerson for blocking that on the line. That is an elite stop in hindsight when you look at
Baldi
that.
Also, she had a fantastic game.
Yeah, Baldi shot stopping today was fantastic. I mean, Rusek as well. You could argue,
oh my God, can't believe.
But you could argue, I mean, Rusek had a good enough campaign in the last month and a half.
He was the player of the match against Roma when they played in the league. How do you not?
Exactly. Yeah, and De Jong was brought back into the side. Not that I think De Jong is a bad goalkeeper, And I don't know if there's much she could have done about the
I reckon she
eventual
should have
goal.
scored. I reckon she could have saved that goal.
Potentially, that is the question that we will ask forever and ever now that Roma have secured a League Cup double. And who else? Again, we said who else last week? No, not Jude Bellingham. No, not Mariona. Not anyone else other than Manu Giuliano. She's probably the biggest who else in world football at the moment. I think she just takes her team on her back bigger than any single player. We talk about NWSL bringing in marquee players. This is marquee on marquee square. This is marqueeception from the greatest footballer in Italy, bar none. Bar none. This girl is unbelievable. I don't understand how she ends up on the end of every single chance that ever happens. How is her intuition as good as the nines in every other league? Like, she scored 16 goals from the midfield. Like, it's insane. And it's not the first time that she's just always done. Like, it's not like she's scoring the third goal in a 3-0 win. She's scoring like goals that give her team points. I would love to know how many points she individually has given Roma, because I'm telling you now, it's over 18 points. Like, I remember watching like last year in the Menso Premier League and seeing that stat about like Cole Palmer winning Chelsea like 15 points and going like, that's a ridiculous number. I'm telling you now, Giuliano has won more points for Roma. The 1-0 Giuliano is in full-fledged force right now.
And what Giuliano has is that attacking instinct that I just think Juventus lack. Without Bakari obviously injured, without Gerardi, and even if we go back without Cantore, so letting go of players, seeing players injured, and then as I mentioned before, the fact that teams have basically picked up what Juventus have dropped and have exposed, which is their lack of penetration through the center and the inability to get their midfield working with their attack. It just means that this game, and I think that this season, was going to happen regardless of who was in charge. And really, we saw it at the end of the game. It's that those unfortunate, errors or those things that in another scenario would have gone in, and that Krumbeigel deflected.
Oh, the Krumbeigel chance,
what happened there?
I mean, she's still thinking about Frankfurt, mate. That's what she's actually thinking about. But Carbonell magic as well. Carbonell had 2 to 4 chances in this game to kill it off. But Baldi, amazing. But again, how do you stop this? How do you stop this girl who can just put out the celebration, puts the two fingers over her mouth, and there's nothing you can do about it? The aura that's coming off Manu right now is just inevitable, and a League Cup double sits forever. Like, we talked about monopolies ending, monopolies beginning in respective leagues, and that Italy is the only specific league that doesn't have that particular like miserliness of said monopoly, but this kind of feels like the start of that monopoly in a way.
And look, Juventus will always have that early era of the Serie A. They'll have everything before that, and they will forever remain one of the biggest Italian powerhouses. It's not just the name, but it's what they've built the institution. But I mean, letting go of Kanzi is just one step towards what I think will be a rebuild. And if Juventus is smart and they're not as reactive as they were in this transfer window, I think they should be building from their academy. I think that they should take the Roma route, which is investing in younger talent and seeing who they can get on loan and possibly luring them to stay at the club. And look, this is Roma's peak. I think that they can even go higher than this. Obviously, we talked about it last week. What will they do in the Champions League? Juventus, we'd mentioned they need to do something because they don't have European football. They need to be doing something next season.
They should be finishing top 2 minimum.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they couldn't do the Cup double this year, but they did get silverware. And I think it's a bit like Chelsea, where we can respect and we can accept that this monopoly is starting to shift, and we're starting to see an equilibrium and even a turning.
They'll still be a part of it.
But they're still a part of it, and they are still a powerhouse in Italian football.
100%. And we will find out soon to come about the potential transfers and how the respective Italian teams will manage their seasons, specifically Juve, who don't have really as much of a what's the word? Like a leeway. Like what leverage do they have over players to be actually come to us? Of course they did. Of course they did. But they also had guaranteed silverware. They had guaranteed Champions League. They don't have that anymore. They don't have the luxury to go to a team or go to a player, an aspiring young player, and say, hey, you want to be a part of history? Well, not anymore. Why would I go to you if I could go to Roma? Why would I go to you if I could go to Inter? Like there are enticing projects out there in Italy that aren't just in Turin, and that's what's special about the Femminile. But we are going to move to different continents. We're going to move to a North v South battle. No, not in America. And we're not that political. Just the CONCACAF Champions Cup. South America versus North America. Club America
versus... Is it South America? Isn't it Central America?
Central America, yeah, true. But the CONCACAF includes everyone, right? Doesn't it?
Yes,
like
I think so.
Includes it all in the federation. So it is just, again, South v North v Central, whatever, however you want to split it up, basically. But it is Club America versus Washington Spirit, two teams that come second for a living, two teams that bottle, forcing.
Was Kang at this game?
I really hope so. I really hope so. In my mind, she's there. In my mind, she's there because why? Where else would she be? Where else would she be? She's got more air miles than her. The amount of football she has to watch. I don't think Taylor Swift can just stay in Kansas. It's not that difficult, right? But Club America and Washington Spirit, two teams that bottle, two teams that don't really deliver in a final, have delivered an all-timer classic here. This is as good as it gets. Shout out to Jace. Shout out to Santos. Everything in this final was going with all the dreams that we had in our brain. And what was even better was that the comms were sublime. I want this guy commentating the Champions League final. Whoever this guy was unbelievable on CBS. I absolutely love him. But Scarlett Cambreros cooking Gabrielle Carl right there in that first moment in the 22nd minute, the big goal. And Bernal, more like Bernal watching your marker and watch her I was going to say bury the opener. Absolutely wrecked as Aviles gets the opener, and the comms are amazing. It's like 1-0 America, 1-0 America. It's so good. It's like it felt like war. It felt like genuine, like modern day gladiators. Like there was something about the stadium itself just felt like it was pulsating around. Like I don't think that was in like the Audi field or anything. That was Club America's home game. That's why there was so much aura in the game, and it was so loud as well. It's so enticing. And then Jace, I mean, this is basically in some ways the Brazilian Stina. I don't know how to describe it, but ultimately, like sometimes I watch Jace and she takes the dumbest shots that I've ever seen in my life. And she thinks she's bloody Cristiano Ronaldo with the long shot, like knuckleballs that she takes on. It's absolutely ridiculous. But to call her a stopped clock would be correct, but a stopped clock is right twice a day. And this strike to get the second goal, left side of the box, Camberos picked her up as well. I don't know how she found her that well, but to launch it at what's her name, McIver, and also she megged Esme Morgan. I mean, more like Esmeg Morgan. You got Esmegged right there by a United reject, no less. But
Champions League winner.
I mean, yeah, Champions League winner and United reject. They can go in the same sentence. But Cambreros looked unbeatable. Unbeatable football going on. The cam cut to Rodman when Jay scored, and whoever did that, I dot my cap.
They're always panning to Rodman every time.
I mean, it was Rodman watch. Yeah, it was Rodman watch. It was aura farming. They know what the fans want to see. How does the GOAT to many people react when her team concedes? But it was Cantore who took on that ridiculous finish from so far out. I don't know. There is no universe where that should ever go in, but it was a fantastic strike. I don't know why she did that. She could have just kept running into the goal. Like she was so far out. She was like 30 yards out. She could have gone up to the 20 at least and make it a bit easier for her. But clearly she wanted to take the extra 10 yards. Why not? But these balls in the box from Club America, the dangerous, fast, edge of the six, way too far away from McIver to do anything. But then the second half, I mean, you knew what was coming, the remontada or the remontada squared, but we knew that no lead or lead change would ever be safe. But I'll let you start off with the second half, because I feel like this is where the Spirit got into their own, right?
I mean, this is where Lacey Santos finally woke up, I guess.
Oh, what baller.
I mean, she found Kouassi. I mean, the space.
Yeah. No, Kouassi woke up. That's what happened. Kouassi woke up.
Kouassi's had a pretty, I would say, a pretty average season, a bit up and down. But I think this is obviously her standout game. But her link up with Santos was unexpected, in my opinion, given the fact that they're usually on opposite sides of the field. But I mean, great ball. Great goal. But
but mate, Sophia Ramos, mate, she fell over. Sophia Ramos, more like so didn't keep her feet, Ramos. and then Kouassi knocked her over with her arse, and then scored a craziest. It was a crazy finish. It was a crazy goal, by the way. And once they scored that, you kind of thought that they were going to do it. And Adrian Gonzalez, the reaction, 40, but they scored 60 seconds after the half. I don't know what Adrian Gonzalez, the bald fraud, what he said in that halftime speech, but it must have been good for Kouassi to wake up like that. And then the goal.
I mean, her second goal was incredible.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Ramos
angle
again.
On the right?
Yeah, that was. I feel bad for Ramos because they've won this game, but she got absolutely wrecked in this corner. But where was this for Spirit this season so far in the NWSL? Why is Kouassi never played like this before? What is this finish? What is this angle? Individual brilliance. And they're 3-2 up, but then. My God, Jace. Sandy McIver, more like Ivor made a big mistake. And I fell victim to what I've dubbed the Jace down tackle. This was a horrendous. This was like Donnarumma versus Havertz, like trying to get the ball out. You can't be doing this in a final. You just cannot make a mistake like this, where obviously the pressure inside the box forces the error on the goalkeeper. I love Jace. She scores the goal. She doesn't even celebrate. She just picks up the ball. She's like, we are not done yet. And then there was that crazy scramble in the 65th minute. I didn't know where the ball was going. It felt like a game of table tennis, to be honest, until that Nancy Antonio long shot was very good. All the momentum post the McIver mistake was in Club America's hands, which is amazing. The amount of momentum shift in this game, I'd love to see that graph of how the momentum shift, because there was just so much in this. Gabby Garcia's header just high and wide. I wish she scored that. Oh my God,
wish.
That would have been.
I know you wish.
I mean, we're just breathing down the winner. I 100% would have bought the shirt, but it was one of the super subs of the week. I don't know if she is going to end up in our super subs of the week, but Irina Guerrero off the bench, restoring the lead. Way too much space for Cambreros and her, letting Guerrero just bring it up the field. Esme gets caught between Jace and Guerrero, doesn't know which one to choose. The defensive structure for Spirit was embarrassing for a team that's finished second, no less, in pretty much every season I've ever watched of the NWSL. And then it's not like I'm watching Bay FC here. Like, we're not talking about like a crappy NWSL side. We're talking about arguably the best that the NWSL has to offer, and they're playing this like lackadaisical, lack of care defense. Esme Morgan, who's usually better than this. I've seen her play for England much better than this. But Cambreros gets her hat trick, her third assist, which is mental. And then the 96th minute. I mean, this should have been a Cambreros goal, but it's kind of more poetic for Esme Morgan to be the one who
they gave it to Cambreros. I swear,
absolutely hilarious.
They gave it to Cambreros. I'm just telling you, they gave it to her. Like, I've looked on every site, they've given it to Cambreros. I saw
they should have.
They originally gave it to Esme Morgan as an own goal, but I think that they felt sorry for this absolute. I used to call her a wonder kid because I initially really like started tuning into her when she was like 22, 23, but now 25 years old, one of the best, if not the best, Club America player. If she doesn't move, I swear to God, if she doesn't move, like she's so good. She's the hegemon for the Mexican women's national
I'll take
team.
anyone.
Go to the WSL, go to Liga F. Like this is like if JC can do the pipeline from Barcelona to United to Club America, why can't she do the inverted one? Go to United, be like, this is too shit for me. I'm going to Barca. Like, why not? Why can't
I
she
don't
do
want
that?
her at United. I don't want a Chicharito regen. I don't need any of this nonsense. But Tara Rudd, big mistake from the captain for that last goal. Tara Rudd, more like I would rather die.
I thought you were gonna say like under the rug or something.
No, I was gonna say I would rather die than play at the back alongside Esme Morgan. But yeah, they were both horrendous this whole game. To cop 5 goals in a final is disgraceful.
A very NWSL like old timey game, I thought. Like very much like 21-22 season, like goals and goals. Was all
I mean, that's why. I mean, they were just having so much fun that I feel like in the prep I had to just do so many like puns and jokes because this game was in some ways just taking the piss out of like the history. Like, I mean, it's so funny. We made that whole shtick about the 1-0s and the finals, and thank God for Italy for saving my take. Like, Calcio Ball will always provide you a 1-0 final, but this 5-3 in the CONCACAF final and then the Champions League being 4-0, I'm like, what is it? Why are teams shelling in and trying to like throw the kitchen sink? Sure, but God, they got ruined. It was embarrassing.
I mean, some fun facts about this game. So the fact that Club America have earned their 6th win by a Liga MX club against an NWSL opposition in the history of the CONCACAF W Champions Cup.
Takeover, baby.
The fact that Club America are involved 4 of those wins goes to show that even though domestically they might be bottle jobs, at least they're doing it against, their stateside peers. And I mean, those sides aren't terrible as well. You have San Diego, Orlando, and you have Gotham, and now Spirit. They've taken basically outside of KC, they've taken the big 4. In the NWSL out, and this means that not only do Club America win this championship, that means that they're secured a place in the holy FIFA Women's Champions Cup. We have the badge to prove we won it, and then they also get to play in the
plate merchants over here.
And they also get to play in the Women's Club World Cup thinger.
Whatever that is.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. Really
another cup, another thing to put on. So what happens when you win both the Champions Cup and the Club World Cup and the WSL? Do you just have like 3 patches here, like the Holy Trinity?
So you have the patch in the middle.
Both in the middle. The Club World Cup. The Club World Cup one will be in the middle as well.
Okay.
It'll be like the FIFA World Champions badge. It'll be like one of those. The one that Chelsea currently has in the men's side.
Well, no, we have that. That's ours. We have that one.
No. The Champions Cup and the Club World Cup will be 2 different patches. So if you win the Club World Cup, you will have 2 gold patches in the middle of your shirt, which will look ugly as trash.
The Champions Cup looks identical. I'm telling you. Look at Chelsea's home shirt.
It looks similar, but it's not the same. It looks similar, but it's not the same. No, I do agree with you. But that is all we have for the CONCACAF Champions Cup final as we move to Leggy's NWSL Watch.
Before I go into these games, I want to have like a quick fun fact. I love my fun facts.
Yeah.
So last season's was all about the draws. We know that.
Yes.
This year, it seems to be 1-goal margins, which are just doing the rounds. So in the first 2 days, all 4 games
of this match day. We're apparently at match day 9, Leggy. I've just learned that. I know that they're not on FOTMob and they're not on SofaScore. We are at match day 9 according to the NWSL YouTube channel.
I swear that there are teams. I'm telling you, there are teams that have played like at least 10 games, 11 games. Even.
Oh, there are teams that have played 11 games, 100%, but they've called it match day 9, which is hilarious.
I mean, good for them. I mean, at this point, I don't even know what a week is. I don't know.
A week is 5 days.
Apparently. But in the first 2 days of this match round, all 4 games had a 2-1 scoreline, which is pretty. I mean, that's coincidental, right?
That's like when you predict like a prediction for the whole week of your perfect scores, and you're just too bored to pick in a number. So you're just like 2-1 them, 2-1 at home.
It is one of the most common scores.
Yeah.
But then the last 2 games of the round had a 1-0 scoreline. So I don't really know what's happening. The goals are going. The margins are tighter. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I don't really know.
It's great for football.
It's great for football. It's not great for me. I like to see at least 6 goals a game.
It's Yegelert's ball. Yegelert's ball. We don't get draws anymore.
True,
We're not a draw team anymore, and I like
so they
it.
They moved from Arsenal to City is basically what's happening now. So
Laura.
Okay, great. So the first game I want to talk more about, this is Boston versus Seattle.
We always talk about them first. They are pseudo our least favorite team.
True, yeah. And look, this game is more about legacy, mind the pun. Than
You're
the
not
actual
minding
score.
any pun there. You're 100% putting. You can't mind the pun after saying the pun.
I'm minding.
You are cruel. All right. See, at least I own my puns. Continue.
So Reign won this game 2-1. Great win, etc. Boston, this is unfortunate for Boston. They've actually had a pretty good run in the last couple of weeks.
Legacy is over.
Yeah. But Seattle broke the scoreless drought that started on March 28th. So that's about 2 months.
Jeez, a month.
Then
2 months. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
oh
2
my
months.
God.
Jesus Christ. But
what are you reining in then?
But this is really good. This is the best part of it, I guess, is the NWSL's all-time assist leader, Sophie Whitehouse, became the first player in league history to earn her 200th regular season start, and the second, and she scored, by the way. Her has now scored in every season since 2015.
And the comms reaction to the pen was better than Parallelo's goal in that Champions League final. It was elite. By the way, Huerta definitely aligns with our one-time high-impact player, geriatric baller with PR, because her PR post-match was also very good. And she's clearly well-spoken and clearly got a career post-football, but has been unbelievable and still doesn't look like slowing down if the penalties are going in like that.
And I believe, and I might be wrong here, I'm just searching, I think Sophie Huerta played in the dub. I think I might be right on that. I'm locking it in. I'm locking it in. I don't know if it's right.
But I mean, you have to shout out Darlene with that volley. That was a good way to get on the back of that that finish as well. And shout out to Traore as well for her finish as well. She's getting on the score sheet more often. And to answer your question, she's been in the dub twice. She's been on loan to Adelaide United, getting 8 in 12, and been on loan to Sydney FC, getting 6 in 23. So shout out. I mean, she played at Lyon as well on loan, so she's she's in some ways the ultimate journeywoman.
She's the ultimate hip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's the ultimate hip, the geriatric hip. 5'7". All of what she's meant to be, the little girl who turned into the quality magic that is the NWSL magic. And I think they just do love her. I do like that they have this profound respect for the history and the legacy of her career. Even I mean, who has a bigger legacy, Boston or Sophie?
That's a good point. But we'll move on. Utah, Denver. Now you need to help me with the geography here, because they named this the Continental Divide matchup. What does that mean?
I mean, okay, so Leggy, do we need the map? Do we need the map?
We need the map.
Of the United States of America? So Utah versus Colorado, right? So if you go on a map, right, where they are, like they are basically right next to each other. That's kind of how it works, Leggy. This is the magic, right? So there are 4 states right next to each other. It's basically Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. And it's that area in the corner where they just kind of sit next to each other. Yeah, like it's like what do you call it? The Midwest. They are the Midwest, ultimately. They are the cereal red states. No, Colorado is a blue state, actually. I take that back. But that's why, I mean, I was going for the summit, despite the fact that Lindsay Heaps will be there. But my God, that Palacios goal was a disgrace. Ava Gattino, they were talking, literally the comms were talking about her ability to dribble out of traffic. And she dribbled straight into traffic. Yeah, ex-PSG footballer dribbling straight into traffic is expected, by the way. That's why you do not sign ex-PSG defenders. Like, there's a reason why they go. But Palacios, great finish. Unbelievable. And Tanaka, I mean, amazing. Baller FC.
Baller. Yeah. But I mean, with this win, Royals now sit atop of the ladder. This is fantastic.
Psychopathic.
for the first time since May 2019. So going
That's
9
nuts.
straight matches unbeaten.
God,
And
Jesus
this is
Christ.
on me. I should have been aware of whatever was going on in Utah. I don't know what.
No one knows what's going on in Utah. No one will ever be aware. They're single-handedly the #1 export in Utah right now. I can't name a single other thing.
Mormonism.
The Jazz, their NBA team sucks. Their NBA team has never been the same from what they were in COVID. They are trash. These are the only thing that's ever come good out of Utah at this point, and they have the potential to do something great here, by the way, because the way in which they're playing, the way they're working off the back of Tanaka, Lacasse, even Justus and what's her name, Mikazo, they've got ballers. They've got players that can run this league and run this out, and I'm hoping that we can see some new blood at the top of the table.
Well, I really want Chloe Lacasse to win an NWSL. Like that to me, I mean, Chloe Lacasse is
she deserves it.
She's my favorite ex-Arsenal baller, including Viv Miedema. Wow. It's Chloe Lacasse and Viv Miedema at the top.
Wow, that's crazy. I cannot wait till more players leave Arsenal. and then we'll have to do it in the postseason of your favorite players who've deserted you. I feel like that would be good, like therapeutic moment to go through the top 10.
Exposure therapy, just with all their highlights.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll do that.
Number 10, Emily Fox.
Stop.
If she goes, you're gone.
I will be gone.
Yes. KC. Is there anything else to this game? No,
because really. I want to move straight on to KC.
Go for it.
Because KC won at home over the Thorns, making it 22 straight regular season matches without a loss at the KPKC Stadium, trying the record previously set by the Seattle Reign. I mean, this was a game of ballers that we knew who were ballers doing it. I mean, Sophia Wilson opened up the scoring early.
Too easy. Easy for Wilson.
Ali Sentinel, the Bonta, ballers, but it was all Temwa Chawinga. I mean, we can't deny
Waka.
You are right. You were right about Chawinga. She might be the best player in the league, and I think
she's
that's
the best player in the world, according to every American ever. And I'm not saying anything new, to be honest. The composure, though, for the first goal was easy, but the assist for the second goal, the speed, the power, and then the control to drag it back. I forgot who scored the last one. The person who got that finish. Yeah, I think she was off the bench, wasn't she? And just absolutely ripped that finish. But Jesus, Temwa Chawinga was kind of relatively unsighted in the first early stages of that game, but just to flip the switch and go Shakira Temwaka Waka air mode,
she couldn't do it.
Just crazy.
She couldn't do what her sister did, basically.
I mean, damn straight. I mean, that's the argument. So I always say that Tabitha is better than Temwa, but the problem is that I mean, no, I say that. I know you say that, but I'm saying Tabitha. Yeah, but I think that's fair because ultimately there is a maverick-like nature in Temwa Chawinga that is incomparable. Where I mean, I would love to see Tabitha play to this level where she could control the ups and downs of Leon's trajectory, but obviously Tabitha a little bit less not behind in the pecking order, but obviously a lot more injury prone and doesn't really I mean Temwa did start this season off injured, but is reminding everyone else why she is the best footballer in the league.
Started off injured, now has 6 goals, 2 assists in 7 matches this year, and is third in the Golden Boot race behind Ashley Sanchez and Banda, both of whom have started 10 matches. So this to me is just proving why she's the best player. She's catching
goals
up to the
per
ball
90, goals per 90, which is the more interesting stat. She's going at 1.2. She's going at 1.2. Trinity Byers is at 1, and Barbara Bander's at 0.9. But she is leaps and bounds ahead of everyone. Expected goals, goals per 90, XG per 90. She is a certified killer in this league.
And this is the reason why KC will probably mount a comeback from 6th. I'm expecting them to. I'm expecting them again. I don't think that they're going to get to the heights of first because I still think they have a lot of defensive frailties, but I do see them.
We're not far away though. They're not far away. There are a few games like Portland's about to play Utah as well. It'll be an interesting 5 weeks. I reckon come back to this in 5 weeks. So pod number 43, I reckon KC are on top.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I look, someone who's not going to be on top two teams who are not going to be on top, really.
No, we're not. No, we're not allowed to talk about this game. You said last week that you were not going to talk about this game. Actually, you said we were. Actually, no, I'm wrong. You said you weren't going to talk about this game unless the Stars won, and they've won a game. They've won a game of football. I hate my life. Babe, you're wasting my life here.
You know what? I don't know what happened in this game for Chicago. Look, it might be the fact
we know what happened. Mallory Swanson happened.
Mallory Swanson happened. Yes, baller. Triple espresso is back there. It was at least a double espresso happening in this round of NWSL. No, Rodman. No, she's just reaction shots from the sidelines against Rodman.
Brutal.
But I mean, it might be the fact that Chicago got rid of their general manager. It might be that, or it might just be that Bay is shite. Like that. That is also the possibility here, and I 100% believe it because they go down 9 men in this game. Right?
Yeah, I know. My Argentinian goat, my favorite Argentinian football player of all time, not Messi, but Aldana Conmati, Aldana Conmati, who has been an absolute servant for Argentina for so long. Why is she so hot-headed? Why was that tackle? Horrendous tackle. Yeah, just ridiculous stuff. This happens in the NWSL way too much. These early challenges, just like you should not be that stressed early on in a game. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
To be fair, we did watch the Argentinians in the She Believes Cup, and they did go
Australia.
And Australia. They did get spicy, but Mal Swanson, I love the comms on this goal. By the way, the fact that she turns up in the 45th, in the 70th, gets her cameo, her goal, runs in, smacks it beautifully, and then the comms are just like, she's back.
And the thing about Mal Swanson is she's the player out of the 3 who doesn't have to adapt as much as the rest of them, because from that 2024 form, right, she could take on any top team, and that's what I think is most interesting and probably the most intriguing. I feel like she's still an enigmatic footballer because we know everything about Trinity Rodman, we know everything about Sophia Wilson, but Mal Swanson, mostly because she's playing for such a shit team in Chicago, she's not actually able to explode onto the scene every game week the way that really she could be doing as much as Ali Sentinel, right? She could be at that level. And Ali Sentinel made the level. And Ali Sentinel made the move, right? She went from bottom to top last season. It would be crazy if Mal Swanson stays at Chicago, and more so for the fact that if they can only get 3 wins in 11, and 2 of those being one against Boston with no legacy and one against in Bay FC, the non-club, the non-starter club, then you got to catch your losses and just move on up or get out,
But now Louisville are at the bottom of the table. It's a weird world we live in. This bottom 4 of the WSL.
They're not even the worst. Yes, they have terrible form, but them in Chicago. Chicago's 1 win saves them. But geez, Louisville, and they're a good team as well. They have great players. It's just that they keep.
Louisville versus Denver will be a very exciting precedent at the bottom of the table to decide the bottom 5 in a way that's conducive to a little bit of trajectory building, because we're going to start some separation soon enough. But I did want to mention that Courage won. This is the only thing in Ben's NWSL watch, at least.
Did Vine start?
For the Courage, I believe she did not. I wish it was Vine time. I feel like you would have known if Vine time had a cameo. But what I do know is that Evelyn EJ did score, and this is 2-2. And Ashley Sanchez did score as well, and that she's top of the table, and she's probably their main outlet to go goal. But it is good to see EJ now 2-2, playing a lot better. The goal she scored was really good against Louisville as well. The hezzy, the strike was amazing. Against Chicago, she did get 1 goal, 1 assist. So it's looking like she's a bit of a flat track bully and getting goals against the lesser sides, even though Courage are not a lesser side. But I feel like that's the confidence you need to build as a 24, 25-year-old. You're trying to break into the top flights of football. I really hope that she can get her form back on track, because she is kind of behind the pay grade in the Swedish striker department. You're not going to be ahead of Schroeder, you're not going to be ahead of Stina, even Bar if you want to play on the wing, but she is kind of a soul mine in that way. So she has to get into the game a little bit more. She's currently got 3 GCs in her 6 starts and 9 matches with a few cameos. So I'm hoping she gets back into her form. But that is all we have for Leggies NWSL Watch.